And for the last time today, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the North American ESL Go4GuildWars2 Cup number 15. I'm Blue, your host for this evening. We're heading into our grand final, which is going to be between, you guessed it, the Abjured, and now Ellusive will be taking the second place spot for today. Possibly first place if they can beat out the Abjured, but they're up against quite a formidable team, as the Abjured once again has, I think, 13 plus consecutive victories now in the ESL Weekly Cups, if not consecutive, and they've won 13 out of these 15 cups. So we're going to have to see just how well they can perform and if they can rack up yet another win, or if Ellusive will finally be the team to take them out. We're going to head into the game, folks. We've already seen Ellusive's comp 2 times today, so we're not going to go over that. We're just going to take a quick look at what the Abjured is running with for anyone that's not already aware, and then we will get started. So taking a look really quickly here, Phantom running with Dagger, Celestial, Elementalist with Runes of the Hullbrecht, traits being 00266, so again, within 2 out of the ordinary here. Magic Toker will be running with Sword, Dagger Thief, again, a little bit different from the Dagger Pistol Thief that we see Arex run on the opposite team. This build offers not as much DPS, it's more of a +1er. It comes into the fight, waits for opponents to get low, and then comes in kind of with the finishing blow spike that's needed to take those guys into the downstate. And then, of course, with the high mobility, is still able to go for decaps and things like that as well. Nos, as we take a look at him, and of course, as a side note with the Thief too, it would seem like, if he's got less damage, why would he run the build then? Well, he gets a lot more survivability because the dodge up time is a lot higher and things like that, and he has more initiative too, so that's kind of the trade-off you make with that build. Nos will be playing standard Terramancer, recently had changing away from the, oh my goodness, I can't remember the straight name, recently changing away from Reaper's Protection, that's it, over towards Greater Marks here in order to deal with players like Engineers and Elementalists a little bit better there, so he's going to be running with that in his build, still running with standard utilities and stuff too, and beyond that is just going to be a standard Condymancer, and then Wakey, of course, will be running with the same exact build as Phantom. It's important to note that this build, Wakey specifically, is going to be more focused on the team fight, whereas Phantom is going to be more focused on the side node fight. Each of them have their own specific roles. They can do the reverse if necessary, but they specialize and they practice more for that specific role on each character. 5 gauge, last but not least, will be running with standard Celestial Rifle NG, running with Runes of the Pack instead of Hullbrecht, so he will be getting the bonuses from the Pack runes instead of the usual might stacking that you get off of the Hullbrecht runes. Anyway, though, guys, when these folks are ready to begin, we shall get started. We're going to take a quick look at the map preview once again today. Still best of 3 sets, so first team to 2 points takes home the gold, and as well as the $400 US for first place. Second place goes home with 100, as well as 2,000 gems per player. Let's take a quick look at the map, guys, and then we'll get started with Abjured versus Ellusive in the grand finals of the ESL Go4GuildWars2 Cup number 15.
Welcome to the Forests of Niflhel. In this conquest map, players will vie for control of 3 score-generating capture points. Additionally, on each side of the map, there are 2 bosses that grant 25 points and a bonus to all stats to the team that lands the killing strike. The first team to 500 points wins.
And we're back in now, folks. Here we go. 8 seconds of the gates to open up. Let's get to it. Taking a look at 5 gauge to start us off. We'll open up the big map, too, to see the splits, but it's going to be fairly standard as far as the Abjured as well as Ellusive is concerned. They're going to send 2 players out of their home gate, as Abjured almost always sends Fanta over towards the blue team's home node there at the start of this game, so we will see that coming into play here, too, with Fanta going directly across over towards the blue team. No surprises there, so they'll just keep an NG on it, ready to play. Horde does botch that Frost Grenade there. Would have been able to get 1 or 2 extra ticks, but considering they're going to go into a big fight here in a second anyway, that doesn't matter too much. And as you take a look back over towards the red team home node, we actually are going to see Ellusive starting things off here just a little bit more aggressively as they attempt to push into the Abjured's home node and take a bit of an advantage there. Well, of course, mid will be between both of those Elementalists as they continue to fight there. Arex getting a nice amount of opener, or rather 5 gauge getting a nice opener onto Arex here, with 5 gauge coming in to finish it off here. Magic Toker obviously assisting with that kill too, and being the one to take the brunt of the damage will really be the ending to this, as we see the portal opening up too, with Commander Quaggan as well as Zeramis going to pop through that portal back over here and towards the midpoint, where now Wakey is fairly low and might be getting eliminated. At the very least, is going to be forced to kind of topple off node here. Goes into the downstate now. 5 gauge trying to go for that res, but an updraft will stop that very quickly indeed. But they still have him very close to getting back up. Not just yet though, as you're going to see once again, just a little bit too much AoE for them to handle. So he is going to pop off the Vapor Form, moving a little bit more farther away. 5 gauge, or rather Magic Toker, I think will be the one to come in here, but they might lose 5 gauge on this one too. Nos going for that full res on a Wakey. Wakey's going to get back up, but a nice transfer immediately on a 5 gauge to get him back up. They've still got their full team, but look at their health pools here. Not looking too good. Magic Toker also looking a bit low here too. Still 12 seconds away from another heal, so he's going to be in a bad spot, but still going for that DPS. Zeramis gets very low, and he now falls into the downstate. Really far away from the members of the Abjured, but I think, again, he's in a safe enough spot to where Ender can just fall back and get him up really quickly. And now it looks like, again, we're going to be in a bit of a calm before the storm, as red team now starts to transfer most of their assets onto the node. And we're actually going to see at the start of this game, Ellusive, not the Abjured, will be the team opening up with a 2-cap in their favor, as the Abjured is kind of boxed in at the moment, kind of off the mid node, having a little bit of trouble mobilizing here on towards this middle point. Wakey, as well, as you can see, starting to get onto the node for the guys in the Abjured, starting to, again, just kind of keep the pressure on the guys. Zero Miss here, getting a very low too, but Fear at it. Oh, Magic Toker was over. I think Nos or someone pulled that AoE Fear off there, but Zero Miss somehow just got randomly feared there, and as we see there too, Zermus 2 is going to fall down into the downstate due to these Connies that were tossed onto him. I think they should be able to resurrect him back up, but Nos again sitting over here as well is just going to sit over the corpse there, put some poison on it, and stop him from going for that res. Horde as well as Aerox forced off the node, so it's looking like again Abjured will now be taking control of this midpoint, especially with the elimination of Ender, and the guys on the Ellusive team are going to be forced back over here towards their Henge node to defend against the now onslaught that will be coming in from the Abjured. And this is where the snowball starts to pick up, folks, for the Abjured. This is where they always start off strong here on this map, just going for that early 2-cap, just putting themselves in a very good spot, and then trying to lock down that home point pretty much for as long as they can before they start losing players. And then worst case worst for the Abjured would be they lose a couple guys here and then they fall back to the mid. But that does actually have the potential for Blue Team to get back into it. Just obviously got to be very careful with making sure they don't apply too much pressure. But it seems as though right now they're actually applying just the right amount. They've actually taken out a couple players from the Ellusive, even back over here at their home node too. Commander Quaggan is the last player on node to defend for Ellusive at the moment, under pressure from both Phantom 5 Gauge and now Nos as well. He's going to get absolutely melted with that condition, as well as physical pressure coming in from those three players from the Abjured. He has Zero Miss here near him. And wait, Zero Miss might actually get him up here. Yeah, they're not paying too much good of attention there, so they're actually going to let Commander Quaggan get back up, as they were trying to focus down Ender and get rid of that LA too. But as you're going to see, Commander Quaggan now back up. They can do the tag team swap out here if they so choose. Ender, I think, actually, no, Ender has fallen down, and he's on the middle of the point too, after popping off his Vapor Form, so he's going to be in a really bad spot for trying to defend this node. Blue Team, though, they're free to DPS, and they've actually got Nos down pretty low here too. If they kill him right now, now's the perfect time to take him down. He's trying to pop off a heal, but again, they're going to let that heal go off, so Nos is once again will be in a good spot. Commander Quaggan has also fallen down for a second time in this engagement too, so it's looking like Red Team is going to win this team fight and take control of their second node now, considering that they did just lose the mine to Horde off of a respawn, who came back over here and is taking this node back for free at the moment. Wakey will come in and immediately reclaim that, and we'll have a wild goose chase where we're going to see Horde attempt to take mid, but again, due to a lax in callouts, he's not going to know that Fire Gauge was already here waiting for him. Now we'll give up that cap, handing over a 3-cap now to the Abjured. So again, Abjured looking very strong to hold on to this. So the question really becomes, what does Blue Team do from here? Their positioning isn't the best at the moment. As you can see here, they're kind of spread out, obviously with multiple members either in the downstate or awaiting respawns. You can see that they're going to be overall spread out along the map. They've tried to mobilize back over here towards the mid, but I really doubt that that's going to go anywhere. They're going to get this decap off, but it's still an easily controllable situation for the members of RIP at the moment, with Nos being added into this fight. They've got that Connie lockdown going over here onto Horde, and Ender again by himself in a 1v3 won't be able to do anything. They're starting to group up now, but again, I think that this group was coming a bit too late, so I don't think it's going to be super duper impactful or anything like that. We're seeing as well, Aerox is trying to go for the far point. I do like this, is it'll pull away one of the support players from Wakey, so with these other members of Ellusive getting back up into the fight here, there's that small chance they could turn it around, and without the second Ellie, without actually any Ellies in this fight for the Abjured at the moment, then they've got a chance to turn it back around. But for the most part, the map control is completely in Abjured's hands, and they have this map under control, and they're going to continue to keep their lead forward. I think a solid push to a singular point would have been a much better strategy for Ellusive, but at the same time, they were dying at staggered respawn. They were having to deal with staggered respawns. They were all dying at kind of separate times there, and considering the fact that the other option would have been to have 2 or more players just sitting in spawn waiting for 10 or more seconds, that wouldn't have necessarily been the most appetizing option. Really, any player there. I personally don't like to sit around and do nothing. Every second counts in this game mode, so waiting for respawns and things like that just really, I think, hurts your team there. So while they definitely could have made a better option to sort of just wait for Rico and push towards mid, I overall do still respect the decision to go towards mid and try to stalemate those points for as long as possible. So that did deny some point gain for the Abjured, but overall at the end of the day, they're still going to be looking at a full cap scenario here going into their advantage. And even as you take a look at the Henge here too, they might be getting control at this point. As Zero Miss has fallen into the downstate, Commander Quaggan is also down too. Ender is the only person that can get or run back up, which he might be able to do, but it's not looking like that's going to happen. And now Ender, the third player in a row, might be going down here in just a second. He's still 8 seconds away from a water attunement swap and any heals that he could offer himself, so he will be eliminated here too. Blue Team is trying to push from their spawn back over here towards the mine, but Horde again is being locked down over here, and again, it's just not looking so good for these guys on the Ellusive team at the moment. Abjured is still looking as strong as ever, more than worthy of their qualification yesterday in the WTS North American qualifiers, being the winner's bracket seed going in to Boston, and still looking super duper strong at the moment here, just locking down Ellusive, who so far was looking so promising in today's event, but not good enough just yet to take out the Abjured. And the Abjured obviously still kind of kicking some serious butt in these weekly events, and still continuing to increase their bank accounts as they continue to take home that $400 every single week here. So at this point, this game is pretty much over. I don't really see Ellusive coming back in this one. They're getting ball skills all over the place and now less than 60 points away, where at this point just really waiting for the GG to come out, which we should expect at any second here now from Ellusive. So now it becomes map number 2. What do you do? And map number 2 is going to be even harder, which is really crappy, because if you're going to beat Abjured, I think that you need to do it on map number 1, because I think Legacy is personally their best map. Because of the fact that they almost always win the initial mid-fight, snowballing is such a huge thing on Legacy, and because of the fact that the Abjured still runs with a fairly tanky team, they've really only got one player that can be easily ganked out, and that's going to be 5-Gauge over there. So because of that, if they take that initial mid-fight, they have so much stalemate potential on a 2-cap, and possibly a 3-cap too, if they can even get enough of a snowball to take that. They have so much snowball potential there on Legacy that once they get control of 2 points, I've almost never seen them lose it. I've almost never seen them get in a disadvantaged position after that. So it's going to be a really tough fight, and it really always comes down to just that first engagement for Ellusive coming onto the second game here. If Ellusive cannot take the first fight, then they might have just lost the game right there in Legacy. It's a really hard map. But if they can pull off that team fight, because again, there was a bit of time there where we actually saw at the beginning of the first map, Ellusive was the team to take the first team fight just through some creative portal plays there that were coming out from Zeromus. So if they can pull off something like that at the beginning, and then there is a chance. But it's going to be very hard for them. So if you want to see Abjured get beat out here, it's got to happen in these first few minutes. Otherwise, I feel that Abjured's just going to get a lockdown once again and continue onwards with taking game number 2 here as well. We're going to take a few minutes here, guys, going back to the in-game screen while we wait for our players to join up and ready up. And as soon as these guys are set to begin, we shall get started with our second and possibly final game of the day. Once again, this is the grand finals of the North American ESL Go4GuildWars2 Code number 15 between the Abjured and Ellusive. Map number 2 on Legacy is coming up in just a second.
A throwback to Guild vs. Guild from the original Guild Wars, the legacy of the Foefire has teams vying for control of 3 score-generating capture points. Locked away within each team's keep resides the Guild Lord. Killing the enemy team's Guild Lord will grant your team 150 points, potentially swaying the outcome of the match. The first team to 500 points wins.
And we're back on the map now, folks, for game number 2 here between Ellusive as well as the Abjured, who is looking to possibly continue on with their dominating streak here at the North American ESL Go4GuildWars2 Cups. Very aggressive opener from Ellusive once again as they continue to pressure over here onto the red team's home point. Nos getting very low indeed with some extra support coming in from 5-Gauge to Toger, but they pull out despite the fact that they were winning that engagement. They fall back to mid anyway. They're committed to this strat. Now they're going to try to take out Wakey. Magitoker's on the way. He's going to be at this point in just a second, putting pressure on Zero, which will force Zero back up onto the top ledge and pretty much put him out of this fight for a few minutes until they can get Magitoker under control here. Aerox as well is under pressure now from Magitoker too as they continue to put Aerox down, and now Aerox falls down as well as the Abjured continues to possibly be taking this mid fight here. Oh my goodness, this is so crucial. They need this fight, otherwise this is going to be such a hard fight for the guys over on Ellusive at the moment. They need this fight so badly. there is still a chance. Wakey's quite low. Nice shatter combo from Zero. Takes him into the downstate. Magitoker coming up. SR as well. They try to updraft him outside of the SR, but not going to work. And now they don't necessarily know where he is. Thankfully, there's enough pressure in the general area to force them off of his corpse. But once again, Wakey has also moved away. They've got stealth on him, so they'll get him back up. And with Magitoker being the one to resurrect him there, he's now back up and in the fray. Commander Quagga getting a lot lower here now, too, as he's about to fall into the downstate. And Magitoker going to come in for the closer now. Not able to connect it, though, so he's still alive for the time being. But once again, Nos on the red side getting a little bit low here, too, but not low enough to where the blue team could take him out consistently, especially now that we have Commander Quagga falling into the downstate. He's going to Vapor Form back up onto the steps here, trying to get away once more from the red team, as Ender will be coming in for a last-ditch attempt to get him back up, but that's not going to be happening as Wakey comes in for the stomp there. That'll take him out, and now they're down to only one tank for this fight, being Ender Aerox at the moment, or Ender Audax, rather, and then Aerox himself as well will also be falling into the downstate, eliminating the offensive force from the guys on Ellusive here, and pretty much limiting them to doing pretty much nothing at this midpoint for the time being. Aerox is still here. There's still a chance for Aerox to try and open up with some decent amount of DPS, but I think it's much smarter, and yep, as we're seeing right now, he's just going to pop in a portal and try to push over here towards the quarry, where he might have some better luck in a 1v1 or something along the lines of that, and overall we'll also be able to stop some of the point games that the Abjured is now most definitely going to get now they have this 2-cap. Nos, though, catches onto this and is going to stop him from moving. Does get a very nice slow onto him, but at the same time, a curtain comes out from Zero and actually pushes Nos back, so it's just going to buy time. Him will most definitely be getting the decap. Commander Quagga as well is going to do assistance, along with Wakey from the Abjured at the moment, so this is going to get bumped up to a 2 versus 2. Necro Ellie combo, I think, has the advantage here. Unfortunately, Zero is going to be way too susceptible to those conditions, so yep, they're going to pop over that portal and fall back to mid, which is now a free cap, as Zero, once again, with those portal plays there, they're going to again go for a feign play, and they will take a decap at mid instead, which I actually think is a much better option. They're still going to be losing both the side nodes, though, as 5-Gauge takes control of that. Zeromus will go in to challenge 5-Gauge on this one. 5-Gauge will have the much better point presence, but if Zero can range for long enough here, I do think that Zero can, technically speaking, take out 5-Gauge in a much longer drawn-out fight, but again, those odds are going to get dwindled by quite a large amount, as you will see Magitoker coming in here, who is the direct hard counter for Zero. And again, this puts that big fight in the advantage of the Abjured once more, and still looking like they're going to be good to hold on to that 2-cap on both of the side nodes. Back over here at the midpoint to check that out very quickly. Fanta along with Wakey, and here for the Abjured, trying to take it back against both Horde and Commander Quagga. It's a fairly even engagement at the moment, but the two Ellies obviously are having a much better sustain rate here. So again, what a fight with won't end. Like, this fight will not end until reinforcements arrive. So this one, again, is really just going to come down to who gets here first, which is looking like obviously will be the Abjured at the moment, with Magitoker and 5-Gauge coming in. Ender Audax also comes in, but Ender's going to be getting here a little bit too late too. So this pushes us back over here towards the quarry, where we did see a decap happen a few moments ago. Aerox will be left to fight Wakey, as Nos leaves this engagement and heads back to mid there, and is going to fully commit to that, as again, Wakey is confident in his ability to 1v1 the Dagger Pistol Thief, which he should be. I do think that Wakey has a pretty good chance of taking out Aerox here, and is actually probably going to be happening there, as you're going to see that burn and those bleeds. Oh, doesn't take him down just yet, but he does have to port back to cleanse those condies. Then Wakey is able to tap him with a lightning whip there. That'll take him out. And now Wakey will score yet another kill and successfully defend yet another point here for the Abjured, as they take control and continue on with this matchup, with yet a single point yet to be scored for the guys on Ellusive here. Aerox and Hortimus both down here in the midpoint at the moment, trying desperately to get Hortimus at least back up and into this fight, but again, just way too much AoE coming in from the Abjured at the moment here, and not able to do much. And again, this is what I was talking about. This is Abjured's best map, to be completely honest. I do think that they're the strongest on this map when compared to any other one, just because of the comp they run here. Once they get a lockdown, Magitoker has the ability to move between all 3 nodes quickly enough to stop any attempts at decaps, and then from that point forward, it's just properly rotating, which if any team is going to be able to properly rotate in any situation, it really will be the Abjured here, as they have the most experience. I think that at the current time, unless there is a lesser known roster that I'm not aware of, the Abjured is the longest standing roster in NA. They have the most team dynamic together. So I think with that in mind, obviously again here, the Abjured, there's just no stopping them, man. Just to kind of talk about that, like, what's it going to take to stop the Abjured here? It really makes you think about what's going to happen here in about a month at WTS Boston. I've talked about this a little bit at the end of the WTS stream yesterday, but I mean, with them consistently, and I'm trying to say this as nicely as possible. I'm friends with Thorin, so I think I can say this hopefully without offending people too much. But with the Abjured essentially stomping these finals every single week. Like, what is left for them? Like, are they actually getting better week to week? Like, are they getting better, or is it just, like, you know, they're continuing to stop and their skill coefficient is staying the same? I think that this could become a problem at WTS Boston, just because of the fact that the EU scene has a lot more kind of general competition going on. Like, there's a lot more even competition going on in Europe at the moment. And with that in mind, the skill of the team is just because a new team is winning every single week, a new team is coming up, and things like that are happening every single week, the competition is constantly getting raised, and the level of skill needs to consistently get raised. Otherwise, we would have the same thing here in Europe, where one team would consistently dominate. But that's not happening. You're having a different team almost every week in Europe, or you're having different teams vie very closely together every single week, and that's constantly forcing the skill bar to be raised. Whereas here in North America, that's just not happening. Here in North America, it's just the Abjured winning every single cup every single week. And that raises the questions, will they be able to perform as well in Boston, or will the somewhat lack of competition for the Abjured here in North America, will that be their downfall? Anyway, though, folks, the GG has been called out by Ender, so we are going to end the game here now. Congratulations once again to the Abjured. They are going to be taking home the top prize once again for this week of $400 or $80 per person, and this will as well send home Ellusive with $20 per person for a total of $100. They will also be getting 2,000 gems per player. I'll be getting that too. Third place, which we don't know the result from just yet, also goes home with 800 gems, but yeah. So once again, guys, this is an open cup. If you're up for signing up for this event, you can sign up every single Sunday. It starts at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. If you'd like to sign up, just go ahead over to play.eslgaming.com/guildwars2, where you can go ahead and sign up for these events in both Europe and North America. The European stream starts earlier on in the day at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, and 16 CET if you'd like to play for that one as well, but obviously you will need an account on the European servers, and you can only play in either the North American or the European Cup. You can't play in both. But anyway, though, folks, I believe that is about it. Be sure to follow the Guild-Wars2 channel down below if you'd like to follow me as well. There's my Twitter right there. I'm at Dr_Blue on Twitter. I do a lot of streaming and stuff there, and I'll post it there, but you know, if you use Twitter, you can follow me, but I know most people don't, so yeah. Once again, folks, thanks very much for tuning in. And if you cannot join us for any other events happening throughout the week, we hope you will join us next week for the North American ESL Go for Guild Wars 2 Cup number 16 right here on Twitch. Have a good night, folks. We'll see you next time.